Good afternoon. My name is Gordon Howard, and today I'm joined by my co-counsel, Ms. Brooke Jones. Good afternoon, Your Honor. And together we represent the plaintiff in today's case, Emerson Rashid.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Would you like appearances from the defense?
Yes. Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Jimmy Fraley, and I'm joined today with my good friends and colleagues, Ms. Sophie Glazer,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Ms. Hannah Led,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
and Mr. Cole Alfonso. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Afternoon. We're also joined by our party representative, Ms. Motherfall.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, do we have any pre-trial matters to address?
Just one housekeeping matter, Your Honor. We wanted to bring your attention to an additional stipulation not currently listed in your bench book. Prior to trial, the plaintiff and the defense came together and we agreed that the serpent, the vigilante that will be referenced throughout today's trial, is the defendant, Teddy Motherfall.
Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so noted. Anything else?
Nothing from us, Your Honor. Actually, one matter, Your Honor, from us. We just like the court to be aware that we're pursuing an affirmative defense in today's case. Now, all that means is we're agreeing that Ms. Mothersbaugh was involved in the attack on AJ Maloney. But simply contending she did so for a reason, namely to defend others.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else?
Nothing from us, Your Honor.
All right, perfect. Then plaintiff, whenever you're ready. Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes.
May it please the court, opposing counsel, members of the jury. The defendant brought a pipe to a fist fight. It's July 20, 2020. AJ Maloney is working her job as a bouncer at a local nightclub here in Milwaukee. She's checking people in, chatting with regulars, even turning away a few teenagers without IDs. Out of the corner of her eye, she sees someone approaching. It's a local journalist who's been following Ms. Maloney around for weeks, harassing her at work. On July 20th, the journalist, she's agitated, she's yelling at Ms. Maloney, so Ms. Maloney, she does what she says. She escorts that journalist out of the club to the back, where there's an alley. Back in that alley, things get. The two of them start to get physical, and members of the jury, I won't lie, Ms. Maloney, she throws a few punches too. But what Ms. Maloney doesn't know is that this isn't an even fight. Because that journalist brought back her girlfriend, Miss Teddy Mothersbaugh, the defendant in today's case. Out of the shadows of the alley, the defendant runs up with a pipe, this pipe, and she starts beating Miss Maloney over and over and over again, harder and harder and harder, so hard that Miss Maloney's brain starts bleeding so hard that Miss Maloney's bones snap in half so hard that Miss Maloney goes into a coma. She never lives. Because the defendant decided to bring a pipe to a fist fight. That's why we sued the defendant for battery, and by doing so, we've taken on her. But I want to be perfectly clear about what we have to prove. Because opposing counsel and I actually argued that the person who attacked Miss Maloney, who was wearing that mask, well, it was the defendant. So all we have to prove to you today is that it's more likely than not that the defendant intended to harm Miss Maloney. And we're going to meet that by showing you two symptoms. First, the defendant planned to attack Miss Maloney. And second, this wasn't a fair fight. So I want to walk through those one by one, starting with that first fact: the defendant planned to attack Miss Maloney. Today you're going to hear from Emerson, Miss Maloney's former boss, and the owner of the club where the fight. He's going to tell you that in the weeks leading up to that attack, well, the defendant had been coming to the club and making a scene, so much so that Miss Maloney had to escort her out of the club physically multiple times. You'll hear the defendant was fed up with being kicked out, so she decided to get even. She decided to bring a weapon. Which brings us to that second simple fact: this wasn't a fair fight. You're gonna hear from an eyewitness today, Mr. Umidor. He's gonna tell you what he saw after the fight happened. He'll tell you that when he saw the defendant's girlfriend just with a few bruises, Miss Maloney was lying unconscious in a pool of blood. And in the dumpster next to her was that metal cap, covered in. Members of the jury, I expect in a minute, opposing counsel is going to get up here and tell you that, well, the defendant, she was just trying to protect her girl. But the evidence and testimony you're going to hear today just doesn't align. So you're really just trying to defend someone? You don't hide your face behind a mask. You don't beat someone until they're unconscious, and you certainly don't bring a pipe to a fist. That's why at the end of today's trial, we're going to ask you that you find the defendant liable. Thank you.
Counsel? We have an update from the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
Proceed with the hearing.
Please report. The plaintiff wore the costume. The serpent took the fall. It's July 20th, 2024, and Emerson Virgin has a problem. You see, members of the jury, for months, the journalist Ali Yoshida and her girlfriend, a local hero known as the Serpent, have been looking into his nightclub. They've been looking into his finances, looking into the health standards, and looking into the illegal drug operation running out of his back room. And because of that investigation, well, one of Emerson Virgin's employees, a bouncer named AJ Maloney, was about to turn state's witness on him to tell the world about that drug operation. But Emerson Virgin, he also has a plan to kill two birds with one stone. And on the night of July 20th, 2024, he sets that plan into motion. He orders AJ Maloney to attack that journalist. And in a darkly lit alleyway right outside his club, Emerson Virgin watches as his plan is set into motion. He watches as AJ Maloney attacks that journalist. He watches as the serpent steps in to save him. And after watching all of that, well, unlike what the plaintiff told you on their opening statement, he steps in himself, holding a pipe in one hand. He emerges from the club, but he's not wearing the three-piece suit he normally wears on nights out. He's wearing a costume, the same exact costume the serpent wears. He approaches AJ Maloney, holding that pipe in his hand, and he beats him into a coma. Beats him until there's no one left to testify about his drug operation, beats him so the serpent takes the blame. The plaintiff wore the costume. The serpent took the blame. That's why we're here today, members of the jury. Now, we've elected to pursue what we call an affirmative defense. What that means, it's our job to prove to you today that the reason the serpent Miss Mothersbaugh got involved in this attack in the first place was to defend someone else. Now, all we have to do is prove that to be more likely than not true. That's just 51%, a feather on the scales. To prove that to you today in the jury, we're going to call 2 witnesses to the stand. First, you'll hear from Miss Mothersbaugh herself. She'll be upfront with you. She'll tell you that yes, she is the serpent. But you'll also learn she wasn't the one who beat AJ Maloney into a coma. She wasn't the one who threw the first punch. All she did was step in to protect her girlfriend. And that she stopped as soon as that fight was over. What you'll learn is that someone else stepped in. Someone else stepped in to deliver that brutal blow. But someone else, Miss Mothersbaugh will tell you, was the plaintiff in this case. Then, you don't just have to take Miss Mothersbaugh's word for the jury. Because the evidence will show the plaintiff's own witness wanted that bouncer, AJ Maloney, to attack that reporter. You're gonna meet a nice old man who's a regular at that bar, someone with no dog in this fight. His name is Nova Stone. Mr. Stone actually overheard the club's owner planning to punish that reporter, Miss Uchida, for investigating his club. You're gonna learn that he actually saw that bouncer chase Miss Uchida out of that club, telling her to make sure she could never investigate. And you're gonna learn that it was only after all of that that the bouncer attacked Miss Uchida and Miss Mothersbaugh dead. That's why we're gonna ask that you find Miss Mothersbaugh not liable. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Plaintiff, are you ready to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff calls me Darwish.
All right.
All right, sir.
I'm breaking.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Sure. Hello there. My name is Umi Dylan Darwish.
Mr. Darwish, what do you do for a living?
I'm a street performer. I'm what you call a one-man band.
For those of us who don't know, what's a one-man band?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. See, I walk around with a guitar in my hands, about 12 drums on my back, and a terrible strain on my face. It's very heavy. I walk around the street corners and play a little da-da-da-da-da-da-da for all the passers. It's a good time.
How'd you get into that line of work?
Well, I used to play professionally in orchestras. Yeah, I did the Sydney Opera House, and the Chicago Symphony, the LA Philharmonic, and the Hollywood Bowl. But I was realizing that I had lost the forest through the trees. See, music is about connecting with people face to face.
Do you still play with the symphony?
No, I quit. See, I started learning more instruments, and everything I added to my repertoire, I strapped to my back. And I added family. I got a grandson named Maurice. He plays with me most nights, which actually makes us a two-man band. Or just a regular band, I guess.
Where do you play?
We play the bars. Because what do drunk people love more than anything? That's right, cymbals.
Have you ever played outside of a club called the Hellfire Club?
Yes, I have. I essentially have a residency out there on the street corner. You know, it's usually me and this one other old man there. I actually saw him in the hallway. He's a little less mobile than I am, but his hair is less dandruff. It's a shame.
Were you at the Hellfire Club on the night of July 20th?
Yes. Both me and Maurice were there. But I wish I didn't take him that night, to be honest.
Why?
Well, that night, there was a fight on the street corner. Somebody got hurt real bad.
Well, I wanna walk through that night. You said you were performing outside. Did you ever see someone named Teddy Mothersbaugh?
Yes. And Patty Mothersbaugh and her girlfriend, Miss Uchida, they're regulars around the corner. I actually saw them standing in the alley by the club.
Did you talk to them?
No, you see, they're not great tippers. A couple weeks beforehand, Maurice went up to them and played a kazoo solo of Careless Whisper. You know, da-da-da-da-da. Anyways, they only gave him $1. And look, I know that a lot of spit flies out the kazoo, but he's trying really hard.
Did you overhear anything the two of them said that night?
I did. I heard them talking on my break.
What did they say?
Well, Miss Uchida in the alleyway, she pointed to a spot a little to the left. She said, "This is where I'm going to be. I'm going to lure him out."
Did the defendant respond?
Yes, he nodded. Then he got on his telephone. He called someone and he said, "Get my soup ready. It's time to take out the trash."
What happens after that?
Then I see him leave. He gets in his black sports car. About an hour later, what looked like the same car came back. And this time, the serpent came out.
What did the serpent do?
I saw him dash into the alleyway, the one that Miss Uchida was pointing.
Did you follow them?
No, not at first anyways. See, when I play, I have this top hat full of change, nickels, dimes, quarters. But when I went over to go follow them, I accidentally kicked it over. So I had to spend a good 10, 15 minutes picking up all the nickels, dimes, quarters.
While you were picking up your change, did you hear anything from that alleyway?
I did. Now, I didn't see what was going on, but I heard a lot of, odd sounds. There was yelling, screaming, kind of like a rapping sound going on, kind of like that.
What'd you do once you finished picking up your change?
Well, finally, I went and successfully hobbled over to the alleyway. But as soon as I did, I saw that serpent man blow right by me. He ran out of the alley.
Well, what did you see in that?
Well, I looked behind him. And I saw two people on the floor. It was that Uchida girl and the bouncer I knew at the club, AJ Maloney.
What did you do?
Well, the first thing I did was I called Maurice's mom to come pick him up. I didn't want him to see. I walked down the alley and I noticed that Miss Uchida, she's a little bruised, a little swayed. She's getting up. What's relief then?
What about Maloney?
No, it was bad. I walked over and there was blood everywhere. I mean, his face was swollen, he barely looked like him, he was completely misshapen. I started yelling and screaming for help. And not too long after, the ambulance arrived.
What did you do?
Well, I was there in the alleyway and I noticed something by the trash, something I had seen earlier. It was this metal pole covered in blood.
Would you recognize it if I showed it to you?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm approaching the witness with what's been created as Exhibit 7. This is happening.
Flathead.
You told us you've seen this before. Where did you find it?
Well, earlier in the night, I saw this pole in the alleyway. It was by the trash. Then, when I went back to the alleyway after AJ was hurt, well, I noticed that it had been moved. Now this time it was covered in blood, it wasn't before.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to read stipulation 16 onto the record. The parties agree that the physical injuries that AJ Maloney sustained on the evening of July 20th, 2024 are consistent with Exhibit 7. And with that, we have no further questions, Your Honor. Would opposing counsel like me to leave the exhibit with the witness?
Please.
Of course.
Thank you.
May cross-examine whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, before I begin, a quick question for you. I was sitting in the back before, I don't recall if 6:15 was invoked during pre-trial. Am I free to assume that the witnesses that were sitting in the row were present for opening statements?
I don't believe it was invoked during pre-trial. I don't know if there's any other outside rules that would make a difference here.
There's not.
Okay, and if it wasn't invoked, then you can't assume that. If anybody would like to invoke it at any point during trial. We did.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Can't wait. Sir, you were here when Miss Jones got up and delivered her opening statement, true?
Right, I was sitting right there. I know I got it in pretty fast, you might have missed
So you were sitting right here for that entire statement, true?
it. Yes,
Heard everything she said?
I think so, yes.
One of the things Miss Jones said, tell me if you remember this,
Okay,
is Miss Mothersbaugh decided to bring a weapon to the nightclub. You remember her saying that, true?
something like that. A pull to a fist fight, a weapon to the nightclub, all that. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Sir, you disagree with Miss Jones.
How do you mean?
Sir, yes, you just told us on direct, you never see Miss Mothersbaugh bringing that pipe to that fist fight, true?
No, I saw this in the trash.
That's right, sir. You found that pipe in that trash can, true?
Right.
So, was it in the trash can, or was it Miss Jones saying that Miss Mothersbaugh brought it with her? Which one is it?
Well, I saw it in the trash. I don't know who put it there, that's for sure. It was in the trash when I saw it.
Simple question for you. So
Okay,
for
I
a
like these.
yes or a no? The reason you're here today is that you hope your testimony sends somebody to prison. True?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That AJ Maloney is very hurt. That's awful.
So I'm not asking about if Mr. Maloney's injuries were awful. I'm asking about why you're here. You're here to send someone to jail.
Yes.
You know who the man in front of me is, true?
I do.
You met him before?
Yes, many times.
You know he's Mr. Emerson Rajan, true?
Yes, that's right. That's who he is.
He's a good friend of yours.
Yes, that's true. He lets me play in front of his place. It's very nice.
Since it is so nice of your good friend, Mr. Rajan, you weren't subpoenaed to be here, true?
No, he asked if I come and tell him what I saw.
That's right. Your good friend, Mr. Rajan, he asks you to come testify in this trial.
Right, that's how I got here. Yes.
So before your good friend asked you, you hadn't told him anything about what you just told this jury.
No.
Before your good friend asked you, you hadn't even told him you were there that night.
No.
But he asked you anyway, didn't he?
Right, he asked if I'd seen anything, if I would come and talk to you about anything I saw that night. I saw a lot.
So another reason to why you're here is you hope that you don't end up on Mr. Rajan's bad side. True?
Right, I don't want to end up on anybody's.
So I'm not asking about anybody's bad side. Asking about Mr. Rajan. You don't want to end up on his bad side, true?
He's included, that's for sure.
So correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay,
you'd say another reason why you're here. Another reason, a little more personal, true?
could you be more specific? I'm sorry.
Sir, you know what I'm talking about.
How serious? I don't.
Sir, you're here for revenge.
How do you mean?
Sir, you know the young lady sitting on that chair, true?
Right, yes.
You'd say your history with Miss Mothersbaugh, it goes way back, true?
Yes, we've known each other for quite a long time.
Because it's true, sir, you used to be a CI for the police department, true?
Right, I was an informant. See, a lot of people on the street, they come up to me while I was playing music, they tell me what was going on in their lives. I would give tips to the police and they would give tips to me.
Was that a yes?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Sir, you'd say it was a great gig.
Sure,
Made some money?
some, yeah.
But that's what Miss Mothersbaugh and her journalist, that Miss Uchiha, you think they exposed you?
Right, so she dropped a newspaper law about all the confidential informants. Once it's not confidential anymore, you can't be a confidential informant.
So that's a yes to my question. You think Miss Mothersbaugh exposed you?
Yes, yes.
You'd say your cover was blown. Blown. Sir, when this article was published in that newspaper, you stopped getting that money. True?
Right. You know, I'm kind of a quarters, dimes, and nickels kind of guy. They were giving me whole dollars. That was important.
Sir, since these whole dollars were important to you, when that was taken away, sir, it's safe to say you struggled.
Sure, it was a little less income. That's right.
Sir, not a little less income, you struggled financially.
Yes, of course, it cut into things.
To this day, sitting in this trial, you blame Miss Mothersbaugh for putting you through that financial burden.
Well, they wrote the article, yes.
So you blame her.
Yes.
You blame Miss Mothersbaugh for exposing you, that you were a CI.
Right.
So sitting in court today, you hope, that you believe, that you will never help anyone who treated you like that, ever.
Right. No, well, it's not because of that. See, she was a little rough with me on one of the street corners once, squeezed my arm a little hard. Never nice, so I don't want to help.
Sir, you're telling us Miss Mothersbaugh squeezed your arm a little hard, and that's why you will never help someone like her ever again?
Right, I bruise easy, yes.
So because you bruise easily, that's who you believe about Miss Mothersbaugh.
Right, she wasn't nice to me.
Because you bruise easily, you hope she spends the rest of her life in jail.
Rest of her life.
Sir, it's not true that you're here today to make sure Miss Mothersbaugh goes to prison.
Sure, me, whoever her agent. I don't want her to spend the rest of her life in prison.
Just a few years?
I don't know. I just want to make sure whoever did this is held responsible.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Can you redirect your citation?
None for this witness, we just add the PDs.
Thank you so much. Sorry if I got some of my hair off.
It's okay.
Cats.
That's interesting, right? Conversation is.
Yeah, sure. Defense calls Nova Stone. Mr. Stone. Yeah. Thank you. May I proceed?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is Nova Stone. Pleasure to meet you all.
What do you do for work?
I don't work anymore. Spend time at home with my wife, she can't move around too well, so she stays home, but she always tells me, honey, I want you to go out, I want you to get out of the house and have fun, and I tell her, honey, no. I wanna stay with you. Every once in a while, I listen and I go out.
How often do you go out?
5 times.
Where do you go?
Usually go to the Hellfire Club. I'm not talking no golf club, I mean, this is a disco club. My wife, she thinks I go there to drink. But she's wrong. I go there to drink and dance.
Sir, you go there to dance at a nightclub?
Yeah, listen, my wife, she's a bit younger than me, I'm on my second marriage. Been together 25 years, but she's a star, and I gotta do everything I can to keep her, and she's a good dancer, and so I go to the club, and I practice my dance. The sprinkler, and I tried to throw it back without throwing my back. It's a great time.
Sir, in that case, I want to talk about some things you've seen while at that Hellfire Club, all right?
Sure.
Do you know who the owner is?
Yes, I do. I've been there plenty of times. Met the employees, Emerson, Roger.
Do you see the owner of the Hellfire nightclub in the courtroom today?
Do, yes.
Have you ever been inside Mr. Emerson's office at that nightclub he owns?
Listen, I don't stoop a lot. But I do stoop a little. I was wandering around, I somehow made it back into his office and somehow started looking around, and I tell you, it's a bit of a hoard, it doesn't really like go of anything. It was near his desk, I saw sticky notes on there, and I guess I've been,
About those sticky notes, would you recognize a photo of the ones you saw?
sure,
Your Honor, we're approaching opposing counsel. Be asking the witness in front of exhibit 5, pictures and sticky notes. So if you could grab that binder right next to you and flip to exhibit 5 and let me know when you're there.
sure. Alright, which number?
5, sir. It should be near the back of that binder.
Tough one. Alright, I'm there.
Are these those sticky notes you were telling us about?
Yeah, they are.
Do they look fair and accurate?
Yeah.
Have they been changed or altered?
No, I don't think so.
Defense offers 5. Any objection?
Without objection.
Okay, I'll hear you. Permission to publish the verdict? Okay. Sir, these sticky notes that you found on Mr. Rajan's desk, could you tell us what some of them said?
Sure. There's a reminder, go to the costume store soon, to do, practice penmanship, or to-do list, work on July 20th plan.
I want to talk about that last sticky note, to work on the July 20th plan. Were you at the Hellfire that night?
I was, I walked from home, I saw this guy on the street performing, I asked him to play my favorite song, Careless Whisper, and started doing it on the kazoo.
Sir, did you ever make it inside that club?
Oh, I didn't, I made a beeline for the bar. Yeah,
Did you drink anything that night, sir?
oh yeah, they got this drink there that I love, called something on the beach, alright, I'll come back to you later.
Sir, how many drinks did you have that night?
Was there for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, I had 8 or 9 drinks, it was a slow night.
So if you're telling this jury being upfront that you had 8 or 9 drinks that night, did that impact what you saw or what you heard?
So I know I drank alone, I know, okay? And I know that I shouldn't. Okay, I know. But that means is when a guy like me drinks that much, it takes a lot for me to forget, I remember everything I saw.
With that in mind, do you remember seeing someone named Ali Uchida?
Yeah, I know Ally, she's a reporter, I've spoken to her before. I saw her, she was running out of the lounge, towards the door, and there was this bouncer. Her name is AJ Maloney, she was chasing after her.
Sir, when this bouncer AJ Maloney is chasing after Ali Uchida, what happened?
The bouncer, she tried to throw a punch. Well, I mean, she missed, but she tried.
When this bouncer tries to throw a punch, did she stop chasing Miss Uchida?
No, they both ran out, and well, I couldn't see him, and I guess I got a little distracted.
What do you mean you were distracted, sir?
Well, the bartender, he came up to me, and he asked me if I wanted a white Russian. He said, aren't they all? Well, the guy next to me didn't take that too easy, and we got in a little bit of a tizzle, and well, I got kicked out of the bar, whatever,
So before you were kicked out of that bar, that little tizzle, did you hear anyone talk about Miss Uchida at any point during that night?
I did, yeah, I heard the owner, Mr. Rajin, he was talking to one of the employees, and they said, Maloney's in position. I was thinking, like position 1, position 2, it was also like that night, but then he said something completely different. He said, be ready to execute the plan.
When the owner of that club, Mr. Emerson, told an employee be ready to execute the plan, what was he doing?
He was pointing right at this Uchida. Says, I'll make sure you never investigate again.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Stone.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm doing great. I want to start out by talking about one of the times you saw AJ Maloney the night of July 20th.
All right,
You said you saw him talking to Ali Uchida.
but she was chasing after her.
Well, before they started chasing after each other, you saw them having a conversation.
I suppose.
And then you're telling the members of the jury you saw Mr. Maloney try to punch Miss Uchida, that's right?
Right, and she was running out the door. Bouncer Maloney was chasing right after her and throws one towards her.
And Mr. Stone, I want to make something very clear.
All right,
You weren't just one drink deep when this happened,
no man,
not two.
no way. I know a guy my age shouldn't take shots anymore. Maybe took about 3.
By the time this interaction happened, Mr. Stone, you were 8 drinks deep.
Yeah, I mean, I had 5, and then the bouncer, I asked for a shot, and the bartender, and he gave me the first one, and it was sweet. So I asked for another one, that one was spicy, and then the last one was alright.
I understand, Mr. Stone, but you'd agree with me, by the time this interaction happened, 3 drinks deep.
That's right.
On the way to get your ninth drink of the night, that's when you see this interaction happen.
Right by the door.
I know you're telling the members of the jury that you remember everything, but you'd agree with me. You were pretty drunk then.
Right, I was, but I usually drink that much, and so I usually remember.
I know you're saying you usually drink that night that much, but you'd agree with me that night you were pretty drunk.
Sure.
You're telling the members of the jury that you remember everything. Mr. Stone, you got into a fight that night, didn't you?
Listen, fight, I mean, I didn't start the fight, it was a little bit of a tizzle and whatever. I didn't start, okay,
But you'd agree with me, you got into a fight that evening, yes?
I did.
You were so drunk. You don't even remember how the actual fight started.
Seemed he was upset about something I said, and just kind of went back and forth, I don't remember exactly what he said. But you're right,
Mr. Stone, you don't remember how the fight started.
I don't remember exactly what he said, no.
And if I asked you to describe the person you fought with to the members of the jury, Mr. Stone, you couldn't do that.
Sure, I didn't pay too much attention to it.
So you're telling the members of the jury you can remember a single punch being thrown, but can't get them any details about the fight you got yourself in?
Gave him plenty of details about the fight I was in. Yeah, you're right.
Then let's talk about why you might be accusing AJ Maloney of these different things. Like I told the members of the jury earlier, you've been going to Hellfire for years.
That's right, I think Maloney probably knows my zip code and my ID by now.
You think the bouncers, they know your birthday too, don't you?
Sure.
Mr. Stone, you can't go to Hellfire anymore.
No. No, I can't.
After that fight you had with another patron on July 20th, you were arrested.
I was hard to explain to my wife.
And then the owner of that bar, Mr. Regine, he had you banned from Hellfire.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you get into a fight at the bar, you're suddenly a banned. If I ate drinks and I whatever, yeah, I guess I was banned.
Mr. Stone, that made you pretty upset, didn't it?
Sure, I'd love to go there, I'd love to dance.
You're still angry about it now.
Yeah,
And now you're telling the members of the jury you saw the bouncer from that same club try to punch one of their patrons.
yeah, that's what I saw.
Then let's see if we can figure out why you're actually testifying.
All right,
That testifying's exciting.
look at this place, it's pretty cool, huh?
You've always wanted to see what it would be like to sit in this chair and get asked these kinds of questions, right?
Sure. I won't answer that. Maybe I can try when I get touched. Yeah, it's up, never.
Mr. Stone, you were actually in court not that long ago
I was,
for a speeding ticket.
that's right.
Mr. Stone, you lied to the judge, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Well, he asked you where you were going, didn't he?
He did.
You didn't tell him where you were going, did you?
I don't, what do you mean?
You lied to the federal officer about where you were going when you got that speeding ticket, didn't you, Mr. Stone?
Oh. Well, I told him I was going to the Eras tour, but it's really my wife that's the Swiftie. I'm, more of a country fan, she tells me all about the midnights and the never getting back together again, so I mixed them up, you're right.
Mr. Stone, I'm not asking if you mixed up musical artists, I'm asking if you felt comfortable lying to a judge, and you did.
Yes, I told him the Eras tour, I shouldn't have, I know, I can be a schmuck sometimes, it's my fault.
Okay, Mr. Stone. No further questions.
Will there be any redirect examination?
We're good, Your Honor. May Mr. Stone step down?
Yes, Mr. Stone, your excuses.
Thank you.
And with that, in this jurisdiction, we are mandated to take a 10-minute break.
Actually, I believe it's 15 minutes for instructions about it. Yes,
I think it is 15, so everybody be back for about 1.
Yeah, sure.
That's plaintiffs as well, Your Honor.
Okay, perfect. Then plaintiff, whenever you're ready, call your turn.
Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff called Mr. Emerson Rajan to the stand. May I proceed?
Yes, we do.
Good afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
Good afternoon. My name is Emerson Rajan. It's a pleasure to meet you.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an entrepreneur. Run a club downtown called Hellfire.
What's Hellfire?
It's a disco club. I like to say it's the kind of place where you can bring anybody, you know. Take your little sister to Swifty Saturday and take your grandma to Senior Sunday. Be surprised how many elderly folk are involved in the city's nightlife.
All right, sir. Well, I want to talk about Hellfire a bit more in a minute, but first I want to give you a chance to respond to what's been said about you. Did you hear Mr. Fraley's opening statement?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you hear him say that you were the one who planned to have Miss Maloney attacked?
I heard him say that?
Is that true, sir?
No, ma'am. Quite frankly, it's ridiculous.
Well, sir, did you hear the testimony of Mr. Novastone?
I did.
Did you hear Mr. Novastone say that you told someone to execute the plan and that you wanted to stop Ms. Uchida from investigating?
Again, I heard him say that. I have no idea where he's getting this.
So then, think about why you're here. Why are you bringing this lawsuit?
On behalf of my employee, Bullie. She was attacked, and so I'm suing the girl that did it.
Why are you suing the girl who did it?
It's a part of her employment contract. If somebody becomes incapacitated on the job, then I become the executive of their estate
Why do you write that into your contract?
to protect them. I like to hire people that are looking for a second chance, right? Thing is, you hire a crew of drifters and loners and vagabonds, they get hurt. Might not have somebody to get their back. That's where I come in.
You said you like to hire people who need a second chance. Why?
'Cause I got one. I know I've made nice for myself now, but I ain't squeaky clean. I got a rap sheet, just like a lot of my other guys. Tell people you serve time and they write you off, call you a rat. I hate that.
Sir, was Ms. Maloney one of those people you gave a second chance?
Absolutely. I remember on an interview, she walks in combat boots, right? Got a big old sleeve of tattoos and a t-shirt with a panda smoking a joint. You know, other guys that might have looked at her and thought, oh, I can't manage her. But I don't know, she had moxie. I liked it, so I put her on security.
Did you and Ms. Maloney ever have any disagreements?
Not really. No, I mean, she was a great employee. There was one time I heard some rumor that she was gonna testify in a trial, something to do with the club. I don't really know the details about it, but she's a big girl, she can do what she wants.
Well, I want to be clear, was her testifying in that trial against the club a reason for you to have her attacked?
Absolutely no. No, we're a family at Hellfire, right? We look out for each other. I'd never do something to hurt her.
Now that we've talked about Ms. Maloney, I want to talk about her attack. How do you know the defendant?
Teddy, Teddy's been harassing my club for months before the attack. I catch her and her little girlfriend going through our trash, interviewing our regulars, breathing down the neck of my employees. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was a witch hunt. And Maloney, she got the worst of it.
What do you mean Maloney got the worst of it?
Oh, it was her job. She was security. And so if people came in and made a scene or made a fuss, it was her job to take them out. After the first couple of times, I mean, Teddy and Maloney, they had this whole song and dance. Maloney would drag her out. Teddy would go kicking and screaming.
Sir, before the day of the attack, when was the last time you saw the defendant at your club?
The night before, July 19th.
What happened that day?
Well, we were getting ready for our big anniversary party. It's gonna be a blast from the past disco. So I was ordering costumes and ice and everything. I remember I went down to check the cellar, just to look at the stock. I open up my cellar door, guess who's there? Frickin' Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Did the defendant say anything?
No, I mean, she's turned around and her face goes white and her eyes get all big, like I caught her.
What happened next?
I tell her, Teddy, what are you doing down here? Get out of here. I call Maloney.
What happened?
Well, same thing usually. I mean, Maloney grabs her, puts her in a full Nelson, starts dragging her towards the back alley like we always did. And Teddy starts screaming.
Well, you told us earlier that the defendant would scream pretty regularly about your club. Was this just her regular scream?
No. Well, this was different. Before, I mean, Teddy would just curse or complain or, swear, but this time she threatened Maloney.
What did she say?
She said, oh, tough guy, gonna throw me in the alley, tomorrow I'm gonna get even. Tomorrow I'm gonna even the playing field. That's what she said.
Did Ms. Maloney say anything back?
No. No, Maloney's a pro. She just took her to the alley and pushed her out. And I stood there, because I wanted to make sure that Teddy left, so I watched him.
As we were watching the defendant, did you see her do anything in that hour?
I remember she got out there and she was sort of looking around and she walked over to the dumpster. I see her pull out a metal pipe.
Is this that metal pipe that you saw the defendant with?
That's it. That's it right there.
Your Honor, let the record reflect on approaching the
No,
witness.
no, you don't got it. I don't want it.
Sir, did you see the defendant do anything with this pipe?
Yeah, I watched her take that pipe, crouch down, stash it behind the dumpster.
What about the next time the defendant used that? What happened the day that Ms. Maloney got to?
That was the anniversary party. It's a packed house and I'm running around trying to put out fires and take care of everything. And Bobby taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, come on, you gotta come see what's going on in the alley.
Do you know?
Yeah. It's horrible. It's two people unconscious.
Did you tell me that?
I recognized one, his little girlfriend. The other one, I couldn't really place at first, right? Her face was all messed up, so I get a little closer. It's Maloney's name tag.
So can you describe the conditions of those two people on the
Sure, I mean, Teddy's girlfriend, she had a couple scratches, maybe some bruises, but Maloney. I've seen some guys get roughed up before. It's nothing like this. I mean, the girl was small. The lips were busted open. Her eyes were slowly shut. Just laying there with a piece of meat.
What did you do?
Well, I did what I could. I took my jacket off and I tried to start pressing those injuries, trying to get the swelling down, stop the bleeding and that. I tell Bobby, go get an ambulance. Turn off the music, kick everybody out. Party's over.
Thank you, Mr. Robin. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Is it all right if I call you Mr. Rodney?
That's my name.
Oh, sir, the reason I ask is that's not the only name to go by, is it?
Well, no, my first name is Alec, technically.
Well, I'll be more specific. Some people call you the drug kingpin of this city, don't they?
Who?
Sir, you've previously heard people call you the drug kingpin of this city.
Do you know the hearsay at this point?
Okay, do you have a response?
We're not offering it for its truth. The witness doesn't believe that that's a true characterization, he could say so.
Response, Your Honor?
Well, what are you up?
Yes, Your Honor, we're gonna subsequently ask him whether or not he agrees with that.
Okay, what's your response?
Yes, Your Honor. We all heard Mr. Fraley's opening statement. Their entire theory is that Mr. Rajan's nightclub was some sort of drug enterprise. They're certainly using this statement that he was the drug kingpin of the city for the truth of the matter asserted. And whether or not they're asking him whether or not it's true, that doesn't negate the fact that they're trying to use it for its truth. It's in investigation.
I'll give you one last response.
Yes, Your Honor, we'd be happy with the limiting instruction that the jury not take it for any truth value might have. All we care about is that this witness has been called this previously and whether or not he agrees with that characterization.
Okay, since you said that you're not going to use it for the truth of the matter asserted, we will give a limiting instruction to the members of the hearing. So I'll overrule the instruction.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, I'll repeat my question. You've heard people call you the drug kingpin of this city.
Yeah, that rings a bell, you know, call you all kinds of things.
I'll ask you straight up. Do you agree with that nickname?
Of course not. That's ridiculous.
Of course not. So previously, you spent 10 years in prison for racketeering charges. Do I have that right?
That's true. Hey, I'm upfront about it, you know, I'm not gonna try to hide that. Not perfect.
And since you got out of prison, you've actually lied under oath about drugs in this very case, haven't you?
No.
About 2 weeks ago, sir, you sat down for a deposition for this case, didn't you?
I did.
And in that deposition, you were asked about illegal drugs found in your office, weren't you?
Yeah, it was.
And you told my colleague, no, those illegal drugs, they weren't mine.
It went.
To be very clear, those illegal drugs, they were found in your office, weren't they?
They were, yeah, you know, they brought the dogs in. Dogs go back to this painting I got on the wall. They take it down, tear down the you know, what do you call it? The drywall. Behind it is a hole.
Sir, they found those illegal drugs in your office behind a self-portrait of you,
Right,
didn't they?
right, yeah, put the painting on the wall.
And so you're telling us that those drugs found in your office behind your self-portrait weren't yours?
No, no,
Well, then I want to understand why you're testifying today. Now, on direct examination, you talked a lot about AJ Malone, didn't you?
I did.
Sir, you're not actually here because you care about AJ Malone.
That's not true. I care very deeply about AJ.
I'm asking why you're here. You're not here because you care about AJ Malone. Are you?
No, I am here to get justice for Maloney. I'm fulfilling my contract, but I care.
Sir, I just need a yes or a no to my question. You're not here because you care about AJ Malone.
I'm here fulfilling my contract. It's my duty to protect him.
That's exactly right, sir. You're here as part of your contract, not because you care about Miss Malone.
You've learned enough. It's the same thing. I want to make sure that she gets justice. That's why I write it into the contract. It's my duty to make sure that her estate's taken care of.
Well, let's talk about why you're actually here. Because, sir, you're running for mayor in this city, aren't you?
I am.
And you see this lawsuit as one big campaign ad for you, don't you?
No, that's not right.
Well, you see this lawsuit against an alleged vigilante as a way of supporting your campaign, don't you?
So I'm not here as a campaign stop. My employee is in a coma right now. She almost died. That's why I'm here.
Sir, is it your final testimony you don't see this lawsuit as a way of supporting your campaign?
I'm not doing this to support it. If it helps, I don't know. I'm here for AJ.
That's exactly right, sir. You know that this lawsuit, it can help your campaign, don't you? But outside of that campaign, you're here for revenge, aren't you?
I am. I want that girl held accountable for what she did.
You're here for revenge because you hate Miss Mothersbaugh.
I do. I do. What she did was unhuman.
Sir, outside of that, Teddy Mothersbaugh is currently preventing you from taking over her company, isn't she?
That's true, yeah.
You believe you lost tens of thousands of dollars because Miss Mothersbaugh was investigating your lounge.
Well, yeah, we got some fines. Health department, she posted some pictures.
Sir, Teddy Mothersbaugh is your enemy.
Of course. When you hurt one of my own, one of my staff, I don't like that.
And you believe in retaliating against your enemies, don't you?
I think she should be held accountable for what she did. It was nasty. It was horrible. Nobody should be treated like that before.
So that's a yes to my question. You believe in retaliating against your enemies.
I think she should face the consequences of her actions, yes.
Then I don't see how this case might benefit you. Sir, have you heard the saying about two birds and one stone?
What I'm saying.
Well, sir, this case, you have a lot to gain, don't you?
No.
Well, you would have a lot to gain by attacking Miss Maloney and blaming it on Miss Mothersbaugh, wouldn't you?
Absolutely not. No, I would never attack Maloney.
Well, before this case, before this attack even happened, you knew AJ Maloney was a snitch, didn't you?
No, AJ is loyal.
AJ is loyal. Is that your final testimony today?
Yes,
Sir, you were told by the chief of police that AJ Maloney was planning on coming forward and telling the world that you were a drug king.
I don't know what she was gonna say. I was informed that she was testifying. I didn't like it, but I wasn't gonna stop her.
Sir, is it your final testimony you didn't know that AJ Maloney was gonna testify that you were a drug kingpin?
I said, yes, I knew she was gonna testify. I wasn't gonna try to stop her.
You believe that this attack is karma against AJ Maloney for betraying you, don't you?
I don't.
Not only that, sir. But in this case, if you win, you're aware Miss Mothersbaugh will be out of her company, won't she?
Yeah, that could happen.
She'll be out of her company and no longer able to stop that merger with your company.
No, I guess, she wasn't on the board and she couldn't use veto power, but we'd have to, put together another proposal for the merger and what we'd have to propose and then see what the board thinks.
Sir, a merger where you stand to make billions of dollars.
So, yeah, it's a merger.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Rajan, you were just asked some questions about some drugs that were found at your home. Were those yours?
No, man, they weren't mine. I bought the place a few years ago. I didn't, tear down the walls or look through every corner. I did renovations, put up wallpaper. They weren't mine.
So you were also asked about why you're here. I want to be very clear for the members. Are you here because you have to fulfill a contract?
I'm here to look out for Malone. That's why I'm here.
And so why do you make those contracts in that way?
So that if something like this happens, somebody can stand up for them.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Go recross, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Defense counsel like to close.
Yes, Your Honor, the defense called Ms. Teddy Mothersbaugh to the stand.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the members of the jury? Sure. Yeah. Hi. My name's Teddy Mothersbaugh. Where are you from, ma'am? I'm close to here, actually, Westfield. It's like an hour outside city. I moved around a lot, but I was ended up here. Ms. Mothersbaugh, do you know why you're here today? Yeah. Emerson Rajan is telling people that I'm a servant. That I attacked AJ Maloney last year. I have to ask, ma'am, are you the servant? Yeah. I am, that's one of my names. But attacking AJ? I didn't do that, that wasn't me. I was there to defend my girlfriend, Allie. She was getting attacked, but broken bones. And the coma, that wasn't me. Then one was that one was you. Someone else was there that night. And they were dressed like me, but they didn't look like me. And they beat the life out of AJ Bullie.
All right, we'll get to what happened on July 20th in a moment. First, I just want to talk about your background.
Sure.
Did you go to college, Mary?
Yeah. I did, like I said, I grew up around. But I went to college, I studied phrenology.
What did you do after?
I mean, I came back here. I learned a lot in school. I learned about police and everything that was going on in Tower City, and I thought I'd put it to use. I thought I'd do something that could work out. Well, in whatever way I could. You know, if that meant helping solve crimes, if that meant intervening. We do.
Ma'am, did you ever use weapons in your role as the circuit?
No. Absolutely not. I got trained in self-defense. I mean, that's what it sort of getting. Never really knew how to protect myself. I thought I stood there, but I don't use weapons. Ever.
Mother, why I have to ask, do you know Emerson Bridget?
I do. I mean, you all heard it. It's in history. Emerson's been trying to buy my company for a couple of years. I've always said no. Don't believe in the things he does. So I've always turned it down.
Ma'am, were you here name when the plaintiff said that you were harassing the employees of the Hellfire Lounge, harassing AJ Maloney? I heard that.
It's not true. My girlfriend, Alice, she's a reporter, she investigates, and I go with her. And I get it, I get it. How people might not like getting asked questions. We don't harass.
Did you hear him say that you were dragged kicking and screaming out of that club?
I heard that. It's not true.
All right, so I'd like to ask you about what actually happened after you left. Where were you at the Hellfire Lounge?
Yeah, I was there. My girlfriend, Alice, she said she was bored, she was there. She was looking in a pub. And I went with her. I wanted to go inside with her, she wouldn't let me, so I waited outside.
Where were you waiting?
Just in the alley, just like behind the club, maybe the sign, just in the alleyway.
Had you seen AJ Maloney then?
Yeah. You know, we do it there, she worked there. She's back, so she was checking my D's. Just normal stuff for the most of the night. But the next time I saw her, she was running, sprinting after Allie, and I followed her. It's weird.
What happened when you followed her?
She was attacking Allie. I didn't know why. Didn't see her apart. She was swinging at her, so I got involved.
Yeah, but how'd you react? What did you do?
She was attacking my girlfriend. What would you have done? I mean, what should I have done? I stopped her. Honestly, I went in there to stop her. I pulled her away. She swung at me. To be honest, I swung back. I didn't know what was going on. It was a mess. Honestly, I mean, it was a mess. And after that, she, I got her to the ground. She kind of was just knocked out. I guess she wasn't moving. So at that point, I took Allie and we were about to leave.
What happened once you were about to leave?
Someone else came up. Of the club, of Hellfire.
Who was it?
No, I wasn't sure. At the time, they were wearing a costume, my costume, circle costume. And they started beating AJ to a pulp.
Did AJ respond?
No. She was on the ground.
The fight was over, he wasn't doing anything.
What did you do? There was a pipe. And he picked up the pipe, whoever this person was, and rolled her over, kicked her in the side, hit her with this, I mean, it was like this long metal pipe in the head. Ma'am, were you here during opening statements? When Miss Jones said it brought a pipe to a fist? I heard that. Is it true? No. Is that I don't even use weapons. But why? Honestly? Why? Would I do that? And we hear earlier, Mr. Darwish. Yeah. Did you hear him say that he saw a serpent man in the alley? Heard him say that? Was that other person you saw in the alleyway dressed in that costume? What were they wearing? Yeah. It wasn't that. That part makes sense, you know.
Does she have to lack foundation from the giver?
Sure.
Now, this witness just testified that the person wearing this costume was a man. Now, as it's been established today, Your Honor, this person was fully dressed in a costume wearing a mask. We just need a little more foundation before this witness is able to testify that the person behind that mask and inside that costume was in fact a man.
Response from?
Yes.
Your Honor, my next question is going to be how this witness knows that, how she knows who was underneath the mask. We're gonna establish that foundation.
Okay, I'm gonna overrule the objection and conditionally admit this, but if you feel like adequate foundation hasn't been laid after they ask their next question, feel free to re-raise the objection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Motherfall, how do you know who was wearing that mask that night? I mean, I saw the costume was on very short, but when I first saw everything happening, it was a blur. I didn't know who was who or what was what. In fact, that was the whole problem, but it was understood. I didn't see it. And we didn't take off that mask? Yes. You can see his face. It's Motherfall. I have to ask, did you plan to attack AJ Malone? I didn't do that. I didn't know what was gonna happen that night. At all. I thought Allie was gonna go in. I thought she was gonna come out. Everything that happened. Allie. The AJ. I didn't do any of that. And I want to be clear about why we're here today. Did the police ever accuse you of attacking Allie? No. They didn't. And who brought this suit against you? Emerson Johnson. Thank you. No further questions, John.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed with that.
Good afternoon, Ms. Motherfall.
Good afternoon.
And I have to say, I've been sitting in trial today, and I'm just a little bit confused about what you're asking us to believe. So can you help us?
Objection, Your Honor, attorney testimony.
Motion to strike.
Well, no answer.
Yes, Your Honor. And I want to walk through what you're asking the members of the jury to believe. Now, you're telling us that you saw a confrontation between your girlfriend and Miss Queen.
Right, that's how it started.
You heard Mr. Fraley say in his opening statements that someone set that up as part of a conspiracy.
Right.
And then you just so happened to be watching that all run down, right?
I mean, yeah, like I said, Allie was there, my girlfriend, she was there, so I was still with her.
Right, and so then you go over, you beat Miss Maloney until she's unconscious.
No, that's not what happened.
And on direct examination, you just said that she was knocked out when you left.
Right, I pulled her off, she fell to the ground, she hit her head, I didn't knock her out or any of that.
All right, so you touch her.
Right.
And then she's unconscious a minute later.
But she fell on the ground.
And you understand you're being sued for battery today.
Yes, I understand.
And then your story is that after you left Miss Maloney unconscious on the ground, you leave. And then you're watching Emerson Rajan dress up as you in the exact same outfit and come with a pipe to finish the job.
Right, I grabbed out and leaving. It was over. Wasn't. There was John. That's what happened, man.
Wow, man, can I ask when you started telling that story? Excuse me? And you remember preparing a sworn deposition for today's trial, true? You recognize a copy of that deposition? Okay. I'm gonna ask you to flip to it in that binder you have in front of you. Let me know when you're there. Ma'am, in this deposition, you tell us the town you grew up in, right? You tell us the name of your butler, true? Yeah. And I'm gonna hand you a pen. I want you to circle where in that deposition you tell us that you saw Emerson Rajan beating Mr. Malone.
Nobody asked.
Right, so the first time that you're telling anyone that this happened is right now here in court today.
Objection, Your Honor, to improper impeachment of a heard.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, the role of a witness during the deposition is to answer questions as asked. Now, during this deposition, she wasn't asked to explain what specifically happened in the alleyway that night, or if Emerson Rajan was involved. To do an impeachment on this witness, ask her to circle where she told this story, when she wasn't even asked that question in the first place, is an improper impeachment, and not in this way.
Do you have a response?
Yeah, sure. First of all, this witness was asked in that deposition about what she saw happen in that alleyway that night. And nowhere in this deposition does she mention any of the details of this new story that she's telling us about Emerson Rajan dressing up as this witness and attacking Ms. Maloney in place of her. Now that certainly goes to the witness's credibility, and the fact that she didn't mention it at all in her deposition is relevant for the members of the jury.
Okay, I'll give you a response.
Yes, Your Honor, I can actually point you to a line in that deposition. Specifically to line 146. This is a line asked by opposing counsel in today's case. Ms. Mothersbaugh had asked whether they wanted her to talk about what happened. And the question was, save that for trial. Your Honor, they didn't ask specifically during this deposition. Respond, Your Honor?
Yeah.
If I could direct your attention to page 3 of that deposition, lines 55 to 57. Ms. Mothersbaugh is asked specifically about the events at issue, whether or not she's the one who attacked Ms. Malone in the alley. And then the further questions go on to talk about exactly what happened in that alley. The fact that she didn't think to mention once that Mr. Rajan was there does absolutely go to her credibility, and the jury deserves to weigh that.
I'm gonna overrule the objection and allow you to pursue this line of questioning, and if you want to ask them a little bit more context, redirect examination.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. So ma'am, that's a yes to my question. The first time you're telling this story is right now that you're on trial.
It's not a story. It's what happened. I know it's a lot, and I was asked a lot. That's
Let's go out. Why? You might be just telling us that now for the first time. And do you think that if you won today's trial, well, that would be justice, true?
certainly I didn't attack anyone.
And you're willing to do whatever it takes to get justice.
In some cases,
Not in some cases, always.
I mean, it's really the foundation of the career that I'm in, so, yeah.
Right, the foundation of your career is to do whatever it takes to get justice.
Right, that's what I started pursuing when I was young, helping people, the root of that.
And you're even willing to lie for justice, right?
In some cases,
You've lied in the past, right?
certainly I'm not perfect. Thank you.
And sitting on that stand today, you're willing to lie again to get justice.
No.
And is it your testimony that you're not willing to lie to get justice?
If I had to lie, maybe. Ma'am, I don't have to lie to get justice here. No, I didn't attack anyone.
And that wasn't quite my question. I'm gonna need a yes or a no. You are willing to lie to get justice.
That's yes, your question.
And I want to talk about how you might have just done that on your direct exam.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, it's cross-examination, I'm gonna give her a little bit of a little, so.
Yes. And I want to talk about how you might have just lied on your direct examination.
And respectfully, Your Honor.
Well, you told us that you saw Mr. Rogers with that pipe beating his mom, right?
Yes, I saw.
I want to talk about why you might be accusing Mr. Rogers. You hate him.
Honestly, yeah. I do.
Ma'am, you think he is the spawn of Satan, are those your words?
They are, I mean. You're right, I don't like.
You call him poison in a pill.
You're right. I don't like him. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like what he did. I don't like.
Now, I'm not asking whether you don't like him, I'm asking whether or not you call him poison in a pill, and those are your words. You think he is evil to the core.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to understand what actually happened on the night of July. You have anger issues?
Yes, I do. Quite frankly.
That's right, and you actually used to be in therapy for those anger issues, right?
Yeah, I did. I mean, there's. Like anyone, when I tried to work with him. But
You tried to work through them, but then in 2023 you said, I'm not going to therapy anymore.
yeah, I mean, I thought I made progress. That's the goal. Sure.
You're telling us you thought you made progress, but sitting on that stand today, you admit you still have anger issues.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I'm not completely, still there. Do my best.
And when you saw the fight happening on July 20th, well, that fight, it pissed you off, right?
My girlfriend was being clubbed in the head, inside the back. It was. Yes, ma'am.
It was hard for you to stay under control that night.
I don't know anyone.
I'm sure the alcohol you had in your system didn't help you, did it?
I wonder.
That's right, you took a shot of whiskey for courage. Do I have that right?
That's right, I was there. Valerie said, and I didn't want her to go alone. She was doing some dangerous. I was nervous. Sorry.
It wasn't just the shot of whiskey though, was it? You were carrying around a flask of alcohol with you that night.
Right, it was part of what I was doing.
Right, was that flask supposed to protect Mr. Cheetah too?
Sorry.
Now, you said that you were there that night on duty as the servant, as this heroic vigilante, right? And you're telling the members of the jury that part of your costume is a flask of alcohol?
Good question, that was Mr. Protector.
It wasn't supposed to protect her, but you had it on your person.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Nothing further on.
Would you like to be direct to him?
No, you're on the time issues, yeah.
I'm assuming that all of this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alright.